grade exercise 16.5, but only the left-hand side. Right, so let's quickly see. Okay, so first things first, right at the top, it was plus 6. So because that was a plus, it would be x plus something and x plus something. Now we said we use factors of 6, which will be 6 times 1 or 3 times 2. Now, I've got to use those to get positive 5. Now, I could use the 6 and the 1 to get 5, but then I'd have to say plus 6 minus 1. And I don't have a minus in my brackets. No. So you had to use plus 3 plus 2. You guys good with that? Okay. Right, then the next one. X squared plus x minus 6. Now, because of that minus, I knew my brackets would be x plus something and x minus something. Now, factors of 6, we just said would be 6 times 1 or 3 times 2. I've got to use those to get a positive 1. Okay, so 6 and 1 I can't use to get 1. But 3 and 2 I can. I'm going to say plus 3 minus 2. That will give me a positive 1. No? So plus 3 minus 2. Do you guys all understand this? Okay. Then e x squared minus 5x minus 6. Now that minus tells me I will have x plus something and x minus something. Factors of 6 was 6 times 1 or 3 times 2. And I've got to get minus 5. Okay, so I can take minus 6 plus 1. That will give me minus 5. Now, I just quickly want to show you guys. I could say minus 3 minus 2. That would also give me minus 5. But have a look at my signs, a minus and a minus. And what do I have here? A plus and a minus. So that's why this one doesn't work. Okay. So x plus 1 and x minus 6. Okay. X squared minus 6x plus 9. Now that plus tells me that it would be plus plus or minus minus. How do I decide between the two? I look at this sign. Because that's a minus, I knew it would be x minus something and x minus something. Okay. Now we use factors of 9. Now that will be 9 times 1 or 3 times 3. And I am going to use them to get minus 6. No. Okay. Now the 9 and the 1, I can't use that to get a minus 6. So that's out. But I can say minus 3 minus 3. That's going to give me minus 6. No. So x minus 3, x minus 3. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Can I skip? Okay. So because of that plus, I would say x plus something and x plus something. Factors of 25 will be 25 times 1 or 5 times 5. And I've got to use that to get a positive 10. So I am going to say plus 5 plus 5. That's going to give me a positive 10. So x plus 5, x plus 5. Okay. The 25 and 1, you'll see I didn't use that because I can't get to 10 using those two numbers. Okay. Now over here, you will see that there's a coefficient in front of the x squared. So what I had to do there is first take out a common factor of 3. So you'll see here in my first step, I took out a common factor of 3. What will then be left? X squared plus 8x plus 16. Now, I've got to factorize that trinomial inside the bracket. Now, because this is a plus, I knew I'm going to have x plus something, x plus something. Okay, now factors of 16 will be 16 times 1 or 8 times 2 or 4 times 4. I've got to use those factors to get a positive 8. Can I use 16 and 1 to get an 8? Can I use 8 and 2? No. I can use 4. So x plus 4, plus 4 plus 4 will give me a positive 8. So that's how I knew x plus 4 and x plus 4. Any questions? Okay. At number 3a, because of that plus, I knew it would be plus plus or minus minus. But how do I decide? I look at that side. Because that's a minus, I know it will be minus minus. No. Okay, factors of 4 will be 4 times 1 or 2 times 2. And I've got to use them to get minus 5. So the 2 and 2 I can't use to get a minus 5. But minus 4 minus 1 will give me minus 5. So that's how I knew x minus 4, x minus 1. Do you guys understand this? Who still doesn't get it? Okay, can I skip? Okay, at C, because of that minus, I knew it would be x plus something and x minus something. Factors of 15 will be 15 times 1 or 5 times 3. And I've got to use them to get minus 2. Okay, now 15 and 1, can I use that to get minus 2? But the 5 and the 3, yes. So it will be minus 5 plus 3. That's going to give me minus 2. So minus 5 plus 3. Okay. Then x squared minus x minus 56. Now the minus told me that it would be x plus something and x minus something. Factors of 56 will be what? 7 times 8. Right. Okay, I'm going to use that to get minus 1. So I'm going to say minus 8 plus 7 because that's going to give me minus 1. So minus 8 plus 7. Right, number 4. I've got to use factors of 50. Okay, first things first, sorry, because that was a plus. I knew my brackets would be plus plus or minus minus. How do I decide between the two? I go look at this sign. Because that was a positive, I know it would be x plus something and x plus something. Daai man is meer besig met almal om hom. Start focusing on the math. You're either busy with her or chatting to Sofiso. Nee, wat se geheim, ma'am? Sê vir my ek lieg. Right, factors of 50 would be 50 times 1 or 25 times 2 or 10 times 5. Wat's daar nog? How much? Yeah. Okay. Right. I've got to use these to get a positive 27. Okay. Now, 50 and 1 obviously can't use. 10 and 5 I can't use. But the 25 and the 2 I can use. I could say positive 25 plus 2. That's going to give me a positive 27. So plus 25 plus 2. Can I skip? Right, at C, you will see we have a coefficient for the x squared. So that's my clue. I first have to take out a common factor of 2. Then I get x squared plus 3x minus 10. Now, because of that negative, I know my brackets will be x plus something and x minus something. Factors of 10 is 10 times 1 or 5 times 2. Got to use that to get 3. Okay, now 10 and 1 I can't use to get to 3. No, but 5 and 2 I can actually use. I can say positive 5 minus 2. That's going to give me a positive 3. So plus 5 minus 2. Okay, then the last one, 4x squared minus 12x minus 72. This minus, there's a coefficient for the x squared. So first take out a common factor of 4. Then you're left with x squared minus 3x minus 18. Now I've got to factorize that trinomial. Now this minus tells me that it would be x plus something and x minus something. Factors of 18 will be 18 times 1, or 9 times 2, or 6 times 3. I've got to use those to get negative 3. Okay? Now, 18 and 1, I can't use. 9 and 2, won't be able to get to minus 3. But 6 and 3, I could. I can say minus 6 plus 3 will give me the minus 3. So minus 6 plus 3. You guys good? Hands up, we're still copying. You done? Anyone else for copying? Okay, now people, we have got to do factorizing with fractions. So, remember, you guys were taught 3 methods of factorizing. Common factor, difference in 2 squares, and then lastly, trinomial. So those are the only 3 methods we're going to use every single time. Okay? Now, when we have fractions, what is the golden rule? The golden rule says that I can only cancel out. I'm only allowed to cancel out if I have one term at the top of my fraction and one term at the bottom of the fraction. Okay, so look at this green part that I gave you. How many terms do I have at the top of the fraction? 2. How many terms at the bottom? 1. So am I allowed to cancel out? No. Okay? I know some of you might want to break it up and put everything that I have at the top separately over the 2x. Yes, you could do that, but you'll see in the next few examples it gets a bit more complicated. Then I don't have just one term at the bottom. Okay, so what I said here is if we don't have one term at the top and one term at the bottom, how can we make it one term? We can factorize to make it one term. Okay, that's what I wrote here. Okay, so let's look at the top part of that fraction. Forget about the 2x at the bottom. If I just gave you 6x to the power 3 minus 8x to the power 2, can that be a trinomial? No, because trinomial, I need 3 terms. No. Okay, so it's not that one. Then I have 2 more methods left. Can it be difference in 2 squares?
No, ma'am. It's a common factor.
Yes, it's going to be a common factor. It can't be difference in 2 squares because I can't get square root of 6 or square root of 8. No? So then my last method that I can do is common factor. So I can take out a common factor of how much? Who wants to guess? Just look at the top. Just 2. 2x squared. No. We always take out the highest common factor. Okay, now if I take out 2x squared from that 6x to the power 3, I will have 3x. Okay. If I take out 2x squared from the 8x squared, I will have just 4. Remember, I already took out the x squared now. Okay, then the bottom part stays 2x. Okay. How many terms do I now have at the top? 1 term. How is it now 1? Because what's written between that 2x squared and this bracket? A multiplication sign. And how do we separate terms? With a plus or a minus. But the minus inside the bracket doesn't count, no? Okay, so can you guys see that I only have one term at the top? And I have one term at the bottom. So now I am allowed to cancel out. Okay, now, very important. If you want to cancel out a bracket, I cannot just cancel out this x with the x at the bottom. If you want to take something from the bracket, you take all of it, or not allowed to touch it at all. Okay? So you either take the full bracket, or I can't touch it. All right. So all I can do is this 2 can cancel out with that 2. And then this x can cancel out with one of those x's at the top. Do you guys see that?
Yes, ma'am.
So what would then be left? X bracket 3x minus 4. And that is where we stop. Because I factorized and I cancelled out. Okay. Any questions?
Can you do it?
Yes, we are going to do more. Can I skip? Hands up, we're still copying. Okay, let's look at this one. You didn't put up your hand. Haal uit daai oorbel, cousin. Haal uit. Okay, right. X squared minus 9 over 3x minus 3. Now, at the top, let's focus. Is it nou joune? He doesn't want to show you because it's his.
It's mine. I don't know other pieces.
Hy het nou eendag hoeka so, ek het vir hom ook al geskel met daai snelle oorbel.
It's a diamond. Zuka, I have a diamond.
Kazi. People, it's on the recording. Okay? Okay, luister gou-gou. X squared, now remember we look at the top part and the bottom part separately, ne? Let's only look at the top. X squared minus 9. Can that be common factor? Can it be difference in two squares? Yes. No. Okay. So at the top, that will be two brackets that look exactly the same. The one will just have a plus, the other one will have a minus. Square root of x squared will be x. Square root of the 9, 3. Okay. Now let's look at the bottom part. All you need to do is focus in class, né? Nie altyd nie.
But you see, it goes like this.
3x minus 9. Think of our three methods. Can I do trinomial, or difference in two squares, or common factor? Common factor of how much? 3. Okay, so take out a common factor of 3. It will be x minus 3. You've got to take the 3 out from each term, right? Okay.
What's the square root of 3? Your square root of 8.
Can't get.
But then,
Cube root of 8 will be 2.
I need to taste my one. I show you.
Ek gaan net hou, ja. Okay, right. So now, people, how many terms do I have at the top? 1. And at the bottom? 1. So now, I am allowed to cancel out. Okay? Remember, when you take something from, can I cancel out this 3 with that 3? No, because I can't. I must take everything from the bracket or not allowed to touch it at all. So what can cancel out? That bracket and this bracket. No. Okay, so what is then left at the top? X plus 3, and at the bottom, 3. Can I cancel out? How many terms at the top? Okay, hold on. People, there's two terms at the top, so I can't cancel out. Let's say you kept the brackets around it. Then we do have one term at the top and one term at the bottom, but can I cancel out? No, because I can't take this 3 with that 3, because then I'm not taking the whole bracket. Do you guys understand? So it doesn't matter whether I put the brackets around or not, I still can't go any further than that. All right. Kyk vir die bord. Jy het nou gesê dit gaan net so. Can I skip? Right. Last one. Nee, laat ek eers klaar maak. Because it's not about this.
It is about this.
Okay, dan mag jy sê.
Why don't you simplify it from the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't over here do that because how many terms do I have at the top? Yeah, man.
Two, sir.
2.
I didn't see the plus. I thought it was the time.
Nee, jy moet lekker kyk. Right. Last example. At the top, what do I have?
2a plus.
Nou man, ek kan lees. 3 terms meaning it's a trinomial. Nee. Okay. So at the top, that's going to become 2 brackets.
It's trinomial.
Yeah.
So maybe it's going to be plus.
So because that's a minus,
It's going to be a plus and a minus.
yes, x plus something, x minus something. Okay, factors of 10. 10 times 1 or 5 times 2. And I've got to use that to get a positive 3.
So
Right.
it's going to be 5 minus 2.
So there we go. So 5 minus 2. So positive 5 minus 2. Does everyone understand? Okay. Now let's look at the trinomial at the bottom. Amile?
It's trinomial.
Because that's a plus, it will either be plus plus or minus minus. How do I decide? Look at that one. So it means it would be plus plus. No.
Also, that's how you decide it.
Yes. So x plus something, x plus something. Okay. Now, factors of 10, we just said is 10 times 1 or 5 times 2. I've got to use them to get positive 7. Right. Yeah, because that is a 10.
Oh, I didn't see.
Okay, so plus 5, plus 2. Okay, so now people in the test, you get a mark for the factorizing and a mark for the factorizing. Okay, now we have how many terms at the top? 1 because there's a multiplication sign in between. How many terms at the bottom? So can I cancel out? Yes. Okay, what can cancel out? That full bracket with this full bracket. These other two can't cancel out because their signs are different, right? Okay, so your final answer will be x minus 2 over x plus 2. Please don't go further than that. I'm not allowed to cancel out. Okay? That is it. Any questions? Right, your homework will then be exercise 16.6, number 1, 2, 3, but you only do D, E, F of each.
Right?
Okay?
The right side.
No. So 1, D, E, F. 2, D, E, F. 3, D, and then have a look. Leave out E, and then F. You guys good?
Which one?
Let me rephrase. I'm going to write it like this. 1, D, E, F. 2, D, E, F. And 3, C, D, F. Okay. Right, people, that's your homework. You can get started on that now.